So welcome to episode 3 of Jesus, His Words in the Generative Way. In these videos, I like to take simple words of Jesus and just see if we can find some relevance and some meaning for our own lives today. I'm currently not in my normal office where I usually shoot these videos, but we're down in the Cape with my daughter and her husband and my 1-year-old grandson. Today I want to speak about winning even when we lose. And it comes from sort of one verse, one line that Jesus speaks in his most famous sermon, the Sermon on the Mount. And this is what he says. Jesus says, "You're blessed when you feel like you've lost what is most dear to you. Only then can you be embraced by the one who is most dear to you." I mean, let's face it, 2 years of COVID, so much of what was familiar, what was life to us, was lost to us. And then on top of that, there are so many other circumstances that may have caused loss. I know where I'm living in KZN, a year ago we had severe violence and looting, and then recently, earlier this year, we had floods, and in those floods people lost friends and they lost loved ones, they lost family members, and on top of that many people lost their homes and their possessions. So how do we then win even when we seemingly have lost everything? And Jesus makes the statement, "You're blessed." And this is what he says, when you mourn for that which is lost. So the first thing I think that if we're going to find a win, if we're going to find a recovery in that which is lost to us, is that we mourn. We learn to mourn. You know, I think so often in life we suppress our sadness and our losses, and we kind of just sort of grin and bear it. I grew up a little bit in the era of, men don't cry or cowboys don't cry, especially in front of their horses, all those kind of cliches. And what I'm trying to do today is not just speak in cliches, but to really and sincerely attempt to say, how do we overcome? How do we win when seemingly we've lost that which is most dear to us? And it starts with mourning. And I'm not sure even how to explain how to mourn, but I think it's to sit with our sadness. It's to sit with our loss and to acknowledge it and to validate it and to affirm it. And so many of us will do that in so many different ways. I think one of the ways in which I do it is that I write things down. I reflect on it and I feel deeply that which is gone from my life. And I begin to say, God, how do I begin to replace? How do I begin to move forward? In certain situations, it's sharing with others. Sometimes it's just simply being with others that helps us to validate, to affirm that which is so precious to us is gone. I remember years ago, a friend of mine said, "Mark, how do I comfort somebody who's lost a loved one, somebody who's lost a spouse or a parent or a child?" And I've been a pastor for 40 years and I've never really felt I know how to do that. But one thing I have felt is that so often is to sit with people and just sit with them. Not to tell them everything will be fine, don't worry, you'll get over it, time heals. All those things sincerely are spoken about and brought about. But so often what really people need to know is that you're there. Just be present. And if you're mourning something, invite somebody just to sit with you and to listen to you and for you to kind of express what it is and how meaningful that which is gone has been to you. These are ways. I think sometimes we need to go for professional help, because mourning our loss and validating our loss will help us to find healing, to find comfort. And that's, for me, where there's this two-way experience that goes on. On the one hand, I validate and I affirm and I mourn and weep. On the other hand, I reach out to God. And that can be expressed in various ways. It can be expressed through listening to music. It could be expressed through a sermon that you may find hopeful. So it could be expressed through just being silent. It's one of the ways that I've done it. It's just to kind of close my eyes and to imagine Jesus being with me. And in a way, I breathe in His presence and I exhale the sadness and the tragedy and the loss from our life. These aren't simple things, and there are no quick fixes to these things. But as we experience loss and mourn our loss, and as we take a step, one step at a time, to find recovery, in time we do find Jesus. We do find Him in the midst of our sadnesses, through nature, through others, through a sense of His presence. There's so many ways, if we will seek His presence in however it is, it will come to us in in real ways, and you will know that He's with you. I hope these words mean something to you. I hope that you'll take the time to acknowledge and to validate that which is lost, and at the same time to trust and to believe that the one who is the most dear will find you, and that you will find something new and life-giving in the midst of that which has caused you to mourn and to feel sad. So my prayers are with you. May God bless you, may God comfort you, and may His Spirit abide in you, in whatever it is that you are mourning, that you have lost, that you will find Him Himself. So thanks for being with me. Thanks for this time together. God bless you. Have a great day.